to the cross.
SOTC 52. It's a pig hunt machine. There's Piggy, Piggy, Piggy. Bye-bye, Piggy, Piggy, Piggy. SOTC 52, chapter 35. Chapter 35. Come a little further. This is a great story, man. I mean, so many of these things are great stories. I didn't write the book. I just putting some of the stuff in the book to encourage you. And these devotions, they're one a week. So, I'm not too much for doing one every day. I got maybe I got attention deficit disorder, or some people are bipolar. I might be tripolar. I don't know. But once a week to me, if I could take one thing and work on it for that week, it's better for me. And because SOTC and our guys, we did the book, we do it the way we want to, right? So, but this is super, super good. It's called Come a Little Further, chapter 35. And here's the deal. Jairus was a big shot in the temple. He's an important guy. He's one of the leaders, it says. And his daughter got sick. So he went to Jesus and said, hey, man, could you come and heal my daughter? Jesus said, sure. So they started out. Well, there's a big crowd following Jesus. Jairus' daughter's sick. He's real sick. I mean, she's real sick. And if she wasn't, he sure wouldn't have went out in public knowing that all the temple leaders, hated Jesus, and they thought that he was threatening their way of life, and anybody caught hanging with Jesus could get kicked out of the temple. So he's the leader of the temple. He's probably making some good bread. He was putting everything about who he was at risk by even talking to Jesus. So that this little girl was sick, and he was desperate. So, most of us, our children are the most important thing we have in the whole world, right? So no matter what else was going on, he was going to go get Jesus and get his daughter healed. So he goes to see Jesus. Jesus said, sure, man, I'll go with you. So they're on their way, big crowd following. And then in the middle of this whole deal, it says a woman who was a nobody, Jairus is this big leader, here this nobody is crawling around on the ground. She got an issue of blood, and she touches his robe, and he gets healed. She gets healed, and Jesus stops, and he said, who touched me? And the disciples all look around, and they say, well, what do you mean? Who touched you? There's people everywhere. And Jesus said, no, man, I felt power leave me. Something happened. Well, while all this conversation's going on, and there's people got different stories and different books, probably devotions and sermons and stuff about this story. But this one part of the story is a little bit different, see, because what I'm looking at this cat Jairus. He's an important guy. He's a leader in the church, and the most important thing to him is his daughter, and she's dying. So when Jesus says, who touched me? I felt power go out of me, and they're all debating, well, what's he talking about? Jairus is sitting over here like this going, come on, man, my little girl's sick, and whoever this woman is, she needs some money, I'll give her some money. She needs some place to stay, I'll find her a house, whatever she needs, but don't pay no attention to her. I got some problems, Jesus, I need for you to come with me. So Jairus, he's got to be desperate, standing there like this going, my daughter's sick, what? So right after this whole thing happened, sure enough, just to show you how sick the daughter was, these guys show up from Jairus' house and they say, hey, man, sorry, dude, but your daughter's dead. No reason to bother the master. So Jairus is like, oh, man, I knew this was going to happen. If we could have just kept going, if it wasn't for that woman, if it wasn't for these people, maybe my daughter would be alive. So all of a sudden, he's got all these ideas in his mind about what could have happened if it would have went down the right way. And Jesus looks at him and he says, hey, man, come a little further with me. Just believe. Just come a little bit further with me and just believe. That's the message of this devotion. That's the message. You may think that Jesus is delayed. You may have expected him to come in a certain way. Now there's all these other things that are happening. Man, if this deal doesn't close this week, I'm screwed. Man, if I can't get my wife or my husband to agree to this, I don't know how we're going to make it. You've got conditions of how you think things are going to have to go down in order for things to be okay. Jairus thought if I can meet him and we can make good time, we can get there, we can heal her before she dies. It didn't happen. It didn't make good time. Other stuff came up and she did die. But it didn't make any difference because Jesus is the Son of God. And what he was telling him was, if you can just come a little bit further with me, with your faith, just keep believing, come a little bit further. So that's this devotion today. whatever it is that went down that you think that maybe it should have went down a different way. Now maybe it's too late. Whatever it was that you're looking at, maybe dead. Maybe the relationships that to you don't think they can ever be repaired. Maybe that deal that you had going could never be put back together again. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Jairus' daughter was dead. It doesn't say she got sicker. It didn't say that she was still hanging out and barely breathing. It says she was dead. The Spanish call that muertos. She was dead. It was over. And Jesus said, if you'll just come a little bit further with me, just stay in faith, you'll see it'll work out. And the same thing Jesus says to you today. If you'll have the voice of the Spirit to hear what He's saying to you. It may look dead, and it may in fact be dead, but if you'll come a little bit further with Jesus, just come a little bit further, trust Him, and you'll see that what's dead can come back to life.